Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So today I'm going to be filming the bonus challenge for the Because We Can Readathon, and that is the Because We Can't travel tag. If you've been on the Because We Can Readathon channel, then you'll see that I've already technically done this, but I've done this with the other two hosts, Jenna and Kat, and we sort of picked each other's coordinates. So for this one I got a friend of mine to pick a bunch of coordinates so I could get a different book and a different feel, and we'll see what type of story that I can make. How this video works is explained in the video I've linked down below. We sort of went through it in a makeshift one that we did together, so go check that out before you watch this one. Yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it because this is probably quite a long video anyway. It's kind of like a build your own adventure with coordinates thing. So let's get going. So I'm gonna read the scenarios from the computer because I don't have any kind of memory, and then we'll go from there. You're about to embark on your first ever solo trip. You've booked a tour and couldn't be more excited. Find a book using your coordinates, and where the book is set is your travel destination. So, my friend picked the 12th shelf, the 29th book along, and that is The Knights of Dark Renown by David Gemmell. So this is set in the 9 duchies, and not everybody's having a great time. It's a fantasy world, so I feel like that's a nice place to go and visit. You know, aside from the war and, like, genocide. Aside from that, great destination, lots of forests. The tour company sent you a list of what to pack with your itinerary. Using your coordinates, find a book and the first item you see is the first thing on your list. So, on the 5th shelf, the 3rd book, it was Paper and Fire by Rachel Caine. Haven't read this one, so this will be a very much surprising turn of events. And we want page 87. So, what are we gonna come across? Hopefully not a spoiler. Oh, a book! A book! An illegal book, but a book. I'll take it. Your parents drop you off at the airport. You can tell they're a little nervous about letting you go, and then your mum starts to cry. Using your coordinates, flip the page to the page number, and the first line of dialogue you see is what you say to reassure your parents that you're going to be okay. So, shelf 13, book 26. The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Now, the number is page 264, but there definitely aren't, so I'm going to have to go back to the last line of the play and then pick the first line of dialogue. Oh my god, short play. And sail so expeditious that shall your royal fleet far off. Okay. My mum would probably just laugh at me because she doesn't like Shakespeare, so she'd probably be like, the fuck are you talking about? Which would probably stop her crying, so, you know, fine. You manage to calm your mum down, and your parents have left you to begin your grand adventure. You pass through security, but your bag is flagged by the guard. Find a book using your coordinates, and the first item you see is what the guards are confiscating. So, shelf number 9, book number 1, page 37. The Chain by Adrian McKinty. So, page 37. Methamphetamine. So, a good job, guards at the airport. Just don't really have anything to say about that one, really. Good job. Ticket in hand, you finally made it onto the plane, and bargain, you have a window seat. The flight attendant comes around to offer you dinner. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number, and the first item of food you see is what you're having. If there isn't any food on the page, then the first item that you see is what you're given instead. So shelf number 7, book number 11, and page 215. Timeline by Michael Crichton. So, page 215. What are we doing? Oh god, deckled edges. I hate deckled edges. Why are they a thing? Okay, so there's no food on this page, so the first item on the page is a herald's staff. So, I'm not sure why you'd want to give someone on a plane a big, like, wacky staff, but, I'll take it. Surprisingly, you actually manage to fall asleep on the plane, and when you wake up, it's to find you've arrived. You gather your bags and head out to the front to meet your tour guide. Find a book using your coordinates, and the first person you see is who's picking you up. So shelf number 1, book number 2, and page 296. Again, there's not 296 pages in this because it's Y the Last Man and it's a graphic novel, so it's just not that long. So we'll go to the last page. It's a picture of a crossroads. That's helpful. The main guy in Y the Last Man, I don't remember his name. It's been a long time. This guy, he's the first guy. Actually, technically, if we're going from left to right, the last male monkey on Earth is my tour guide. I kind of like that better than the guy. So this monkey is my tour guide. Love it. Wonderful. You're on the bus now and you can't wait to start sightseeing. Using your coordinates, the first place you see is the first stop of the tour. So shelf number 2, book number 10 is The Silver Chair by C.S. Lewis, and page 64. Cair Paravel, the castle in Narnia. Cool. That'd be cool to see. I didn't know it was in the 9 duchies, but that's fun. It's been a few days and you've never taken in so many breathtaking sights before. It's late and you've finally arrived at your hotel for the evening, only for your tour guide to tell you that there's been a mix-up and instead of your room being a twin, there's only one bed and you'll have to share. Find a book using your coordinates and the first person you see is who you're sharing with. Honestly, I'm not surprised. My tour guide's a monkey. He's probably not great at, doing hotel bookings, so I'm not surprised that there's been a mix-up. That there's even a room at all is quite impressive. So for that one we have shelf number 5, book number 14, and that was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And, can't say I'm feeling too bad about this being one of the characters that I have to share a bed with. So we have page number 72. Oh, this is probably before anything nice happens. Oh, Feyre. Okay, I'll take that. I quite like Feyre. I've only read the first book, but I quite like her, so yeah, sharing a bed with Feyre. Nice. The both of you are lying in bed together and it's pretty awkward. You know you should say something to ease the tension, but you aren't sure what. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number and the first piece of dialogue you see is your opening line. So for this one, I have shelf number 1, book number 3, so it's another graphic novel and it's The Walking Dead. Yeah. So it's page 111, but I can't kind of do that because they don't have page numbers on them. So I'm just going to pick to a random page near the end, because I think there's 126 pages. So, do you need more blankets? I mean, I guess that's a good opener. We're lying in bed. Do you need more blankets? Sure. Your bedmate has found you to be hilarious, and the two of you stayed up late talking. You stayed up so late that you overslept, and by the time you wake up, the tour bus has already left. The two of you decide, even without the rest of the group, you don't want to miss a whole day's worth of sightseeing, so you decide to head out together. Find a book using your coordinates, and the first place you see is where you're heading. So for this one, it was shelf number 8, book number 13, and that was Pretty Little Things by Julian Hoffman. This is a murder book. So page 78. Where are we going? Hopefully not to a serial killer's den. So we're just going to that girl's house. No context, just that girl's house. That's wow, such an attraction. The best sightseeing experience I've ever had. You head to the city's biggest attraction, hoping that maybe the tour group is there, only to find it strangely deserted. You notice some weird carvings on the ground and reach out to touch them. This turns out to be a mistake as you soon realise that you've just woken up an angry god. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number and the first person you see is who you've awoken. So this was shelf number 5, book number 21. The Toll by Neil Schusterman. I don't want to spoil myself on this one because I've not read this, but we need to go to page 116. So this is a spoilery name, and I don't want to mention it in case you haven't read The Toll yet, but I'll just say a scythe. Great. Maybe Feyre can take a scythe? I don't know. Not sure I could. Depends. The scythe in question? I don't know. The god rounds on your newfound friend, and you have an overwhelming urge to protect them, despite having no fighting skills whatsoever. You need to find a weapon and fast. Find a book using your coordinates, and the first item you see is the item you're defriending yourself with. This was shelf 2, book number 29, and that was Magician by Raymond D. Feist. So, page number 72. Oh, an apple. Maybe I could kill a scythe with an apple. Maybe it's a poisoned apple and I'm like, poisoned apple for you. I'm not sure why I would do that, but why would I have a poisoned apple? Why would I be... who knows? It's a fictional scenario, just go with it, okay? Okay? Against all the odds, you succeed in killing the god, and your new friend is overcome with gratitude and pledges their love for you. Unfortunately, the locals are less than impressed that you've just killed one of their oldest deities, and you're promptly arrested. The authorities tell you that you can have one phone call to get help. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number, and the first person you see is who you're calling. So, for this one, I have gone from shelf number 12, book number 2, and that was The Last Sword of Power by David Gemmell. So we want page number 171. Cormac. I haven't read this book for so long, I don't know who that is. Oh god. Oh, really randomly just went to another page. He's a prince, so I'll take it. A prince can come and rescue me. I think he'd fit right in with the 9 duchies, so, you know. No, yeah, Prince Cormac, he can come and rescue me. And Feyre, obviously, don't forget my love. Your friend is impressed that you're still alive after an encounter like that and agrees to get you out of jail. They neglect to mention, however, how they are planning on doing it. Your partner starts to worry and you decide to very quickly calm them down by telling them a joke. Find a book using your coordinates and the first dialogue that you see is a joke you tell. So we have shelf number 8, book number 23, and that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. And we have page number 76. Like monsters out of the hells. Didn't matter how much we fought, kept coming back. Wraiths bleeding wraiths. That's funny, right? Ha ha. Your friend was true to their word and soon enough you're out of jail. But they weren't exactly legal about it and now you're on the run. Both you and your partner now need a new identity. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number and the first 2 names you see are your new identities. So for this one we have shelf number 4 and book number 3. And that is Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. So, page 274. Percy and Kronos. Okay, so, new names, new identities, Percy and Kronos. You will never find us. Since you're now a wanted criminal, you don't want to put your family in danger and accept that you can probably never go home again. Find a book using your coordinates and the setting of the book will be your new place of residence. This one was shelf number 13 and book number 1, which was The Short Second Life of Britannia by Stephanie Meyer. Seattle, Washington. We've decided to go to America. Yeah, you'd never find us because we're not in a fantasy realm anymore. We're like, okay, we'll just move to like modern America and have a fun time there. Percy and Kronos in Seattle. Woo. After an eventful first trip that you will never forget, you and your partner have finally settled down and are beginning to make a new life together. Your partner tells you that they've got a surprise and tells you to close your eyes. When you open them, you see that they've given you a souvenir from your travels. Using your coordinates, flip to the page number and the first item you see is what you were given. So we have shelf number 7, book number 26, and that was The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakovic, and we're on page 160. Hopefully it's not drugs. A monitor. I'm not really sure why that'd be useful, but thanks. Thanks, Kronos. Thanks, Kronos. And last but not least, it's a few months later and things have finally settled down to the point where you think it's safe to leave an anonymous review of the tour you took on your tour company's website, mainly to warn people of what could occur if they missed the bus. Find a book using your coordinates and the first line of dialogue you see is your review. So we have shelf number 6, book number 11, which was Fragile Eternity by Melissa Marr, and book page number 32. I don't want us to destroy each other like they did. Yeah, okay. I don't want that either. So, in summary, I went on holiday to a magical fantasy land and, you know, said parting words of Shakespeare to my mother in the most lyrical way possible. Tried to smuggle drugs onto the airplane but got caught. My tour guide was a monkey. I fell in love with Feyre and we fought a scythe, killed a scythe. And then I had to call my friend the prince, because obviously I know a prince, to help us break out of jail. We renamed ourselves Kronos and Percy, and lived happily ever after till the end of our days, obviously. That's, wow. Obviously my favourite bit of that was getting caught by the guards when trying to smuggle methamphetamine, because I feel like that definitely worked out. My least favourite thing was the books that I picked that I hadn't read so recently, so I didn't really remember who the characters were or like the context behind them, but you know, maybe I should get to my TBR pile. Maybe. So that was the bonus video. It was the Because We Can't Travel tag, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I had fun making it. Don't forget to check out all the other Because We Can Readathon videos. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!